So what happened? After that selection was made, some people started to question whether or not Michael Jordan made the right selection, right? So this morning I was doing some research and I came across an article here from Fade Away, which basically highlighted some comments that Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN made in terms of him pushing back on the notion that Michael Jordan made the wrong pick. So what we want to do is want to quickly play what Adrian Wojnarowski had to say here, and then we'll come back and continue on with the show.
I think Brandon Miller certainly makes, a lot of sense at that spot. A prototypical big wing player that every great team in the league has, from Jason Tatum, to Kawhi Leonard, to obviously, he's a player, I think, for Charlotte now, that allows them, to kind of grow with what's still a very young core, and if Miller, I think, smart player. You talk to teams who've done their research on him already, serious-minded, great feel for the game, great passer, really good defender.
So you heard what Adrian Wojnarowski had to say. Basically, he defended the pick. Now, what I actually ended up doing was I actually combed through the internet to actually look at some highlights of this guy playing basketball to get a better sense of what his game is like, because I don't watch college basketball. Brandon Miller reminds me of like a young Paul George from the Indiana Pacers. Now, he's a little bit taller than Paul George. Paul George is 6'8". He's 6'9", but they have a very similar style, right? This is just me. I could be wrong. I looked at his game. I looked at some of his highlights a lot at Alabama. He does have some range. I've seen him hit an open three-point shot. I saw him hit some threes that were contested. So he does have some range. He is athletic, but not extremely athletic. Not like John Morant, Zion. Those are unusual cases, but he is athletic. He's a guy that seems to like to crash the board a lot, right? So he has a lot of activity when he plays, and I think that really will probably stand out to coaches when they're scouting this guy and really considering whether or not they would draft him. Probably that's something that stood out to the Charlotte Hornets as well. He has a lot of good size, as I just mentioned. He isn't extremely skinny, although he is slim, but he does have a good body to him. Another thing I noticed about his game was he seems like a two-way player, right? And if you can get a two-way player, and as a matter of fact, that's exactly what Adrian Wojnarowski alluded to by saying, if you can get a guy like a Jason Tatum or Kawhi Leonard, that could be invaluable. That's very valuable to get a guy like that on your roster. And I noticed that he does seem to be a two-way player. I saw him have some chase down blocks. So to have a guy that's enthusiastic about playing defense, not just about scoring, it's a good sign. He did make some comments where he said he believes the Charlotte Hornets are going to be in the NBA Finals. Okay, young fella, we'll have to wait and see if that's possible, but I do like the confidence. Now, he doesn't have a mid-range shot, and I think the fact that he doesn't have a mid-range shot is by design.